Ask Fred Q&A session with Fred Cary. Hello, Fred.
Hello, everybody.
Fred is the CEO over at IdeaPros. I'm marketing director, and today we're taking your questions. We did get many questions ahead of time, so I do have quite a long list, but please let us know if you're watching us live, #live, and if you do have a question for us today, put it in the comments. And whether you're over on YouTube or Facebook, we're keeping an eye for all of those comments, but we have quite a few. Hi, Yadira. Hi, Irene. Thank you guys for being here. Fred, we have a couple that we want that are very similar. So everyone who submitted them, if you asked a question about whether you should be exactly how to market when you're getting close to launch, but you're not quite there, I'm kind of lumping them all into one. So Fred, if you're close to launch, but you don't actually have everything ready, you're not able to go to literally to sales, what should you do?
Well, there's a process that's a little bit different depending on what type of company you have. Right, but let's talk about something that's a consumer product. You can start teasers well ahead, and I've referred to Harry's Razor campaign a few different times in the past. They probably for several months before they got started had little vague teasers about what was coming, and so the ability to start attracting a market even before you have anything to sell is really compelling, because once you have things to sell, then having an intact marketplace really makes a lot of sense, can really drive your initial sales forward further. And what do I mean by that? You can figure out the different types of groups that you're trying to attract and reach out to those places where those groups live, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, perhaps, depending on the type of product, and start developing teasers. Hey, we have something new coming out in 4 weeks. Click here to learn more about it, and then provide a little bit more information every single week that gives a little bit more detail. And I would do the launch part of it even before you have the product. If you're secure in knowing that the product is being manufactured, is going to be there within X number of weeks, then you can actually start and taking orders, not even pre-orders. You can start taking orders saying that, hey, delivery is in 90 days, or delivery is in 60 days, or 45 days. We have a couple partners right now that are taking orders on products that are either being manufactured or have been manufactured and are on their way to the United States. So definitely do things that start attracting that audience and start getting your name out even before you do that official launch.
Absolutely. There's a lot, and like you said, there's a lot of factors that come into it. How long until you can get your delivery, like Fred mentioned. You have to be careful, so you can't take pre-orders within too far in advance. It's actually, you'll get blocked by Stripe or PayPal or any of those if you're not careful. So you just have to be strategic about it. And then you can build your list at any time. We have some partners who've been building their list for years, and people that I know have been developing products who've got, they're collecting signatures, or they're getting interested parties into a close-knit family. And if you are very protective over the information, start a private group and have more of a barrier between you and everyone else too. So there's some things you can do. The Facebook groups are a really good way to announce too, because you have a captive audience, if you will, where you can give those little teasers, but keep in mind with a Facebook private group that they can't share out. So if you're really trying to get like Harry Razors and that viral effect, that has to be in a public forum.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. And there's lots of things you can update people on without it being about your product too. So you can, have industry articles or be talking about the subject, not the solution, on what you're doing. I know we have some people who have blogs, hundreds of blogs already written for their launch because they know their topic area. Jay, I think I see you over there.
Yeah, and we have one partner that her whole thing is on videos, and I think she's up to 75 videos that she
Yes.
has canned already, and they're not launched. You know what you don't want to do is be the I don't want to use the word stupid, but the kind of like I'm the inventor, and somebody come give me a patent and $1 million. You're an entrepreneur. You got to roll up your sleeves. You got to work your butt off, and you need to be strategic and opportunistic to get every single opportunity that you may have in front of you. And it's really never too early to start. You just have to be careful with how much information you disclose, right? You don't want to disclose competitively relevant information before you're ready to go play. So
Right.
just a little bit at a time. Use your common sense, and if you are one of our partners, of course, then we can assist you in that part of it.
For sure. And you definitely don't want to wait until then, all the way till the end. Fred will say this again and again, like build your list, build it early, and really build the loyalty, the followers that you're going to have. If you wait until the moment that your product's launching, you have a process to be able to get that out to the public. So it's going to take you even longer.
Right.
So definitely. And we do have a couple shows that we've done as far as how to build your list, but I have one coming up very, very soon, which is all about building. It's like a rework of the information that we've done in the past, but that's how to build your list without giving away your secrets. So that's coming up soon. I have a guest speaker as well as Fred's brilliant knowledge on the topic coming. So I know we have a lot of questions, so I may get on to the next one. Timbo actually submitted his. Thank you for putting it in the chat so we can put it on the screen. How do you accomplish the impossible when you aren't really sure what's possible? This sounds like a total Fred question for sure.
That's the full question.
Yep.
Well, going up the stairs to our office is a quote by Picasso that says, anything you can imagine is possible. Something to that effect. I have to read it every time I go up and down from now on, so I'll say it right. If you can imagine it, it's possible, right? You have to, and this I'm assuming is an academic question, because if it's truly impossible, it's truly impossible. Like, I'm never going to be able to fly on my own. But you always need to strive for the best. You always need to believe that you haven't given as much as you can. And so therefore, you have to always be on a journey to make whatever it is that you're doing better and better over time, right? You are in search of curing impossibility. You may never actually get there, but if your goal is to always be the best you can be, provide the best service you could provide the best products you could provide, that's a never-ending journey where you're looking for perfection, or as close to perfection as you can get. So the short answer to that is, never stay put, never be satisfied with where you are, and always know that you can do better. That doesn't mean keep making changes to your initial product and changes to your initial app and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. You can make things better. Version 2, version 3, updates on the app, just make it go time, have it be the best product it can be when it launches, and keep looking at yourself as a business owner, not a product owner. And you can start thinking about how to make that product better. What's the next product? What are the next 5 products? Don't get caught in that mindset that, again, I talked about inventors, that you invented something and therefore you're going to be set for the rest of your life. Just think of this as a life journey. You're a business owner, and you are going to deliver a series of things, and they're going to get better and better and better if you keep your mind on perfection and try to get as close to it as you can.
Excellent. Excellent. So I have a question. Actually, it goes along with what we were just talking about. Is it good to have NDAs signed and possible patents as well?
NDAs are a funny thing. In fact, somebody was complaining about that just the other day. Like, why did you send something to the Home Shopping Network without an NDA? Well, because they won't give you an NDA and they won't look at you, and they don't really have time to take your product idea and go copy it. That's not what it's all about. When you guys think about NDAs, you have to look at what power position you're in as well. You're not going to get an NDA from General Motors for anything that you want to show them. You're not going to get an NDA from any major corporation if you want to show them your new widget and you want them to consider it. You're in a very weak position from a power perspective, and those companies don't sign them. You're not going to get them. Secondarily, NDAs give you this false sense of protection. They really are, it's a document, it's like a restraining order, right? And look how well those work in real life. It's the same thing with an NDA. If somebody has a willingness and desire to steal your idea, an NDA is not going to stop that. Just be careful with the people you deal with. Deal with reputable companies, and look at the reality of things. Is this multinational organization going to steal my little widget that I've been begging somebody to look at for the last 5 years? So that's one thing. The patent part of it, you asked as well. Certainly, if you can get a patent on something, when you're ready to have it manufactured, after you've been through engineering and you can have it manufactured at a reasonable price point and that people are going to want it, then certainly you can go get your patents at that point. And patents do give you some measure of protection, but then again, some patents are the way they're written, they're so narrowly written that one small change to one small thing, and you don't have any protection at all. And by the way, 97% of patents that are issued never get produced.
It's very good. We have a whole show about patents as well. If you guys have any questions, I know, Leticia, if you don't mind putting some of those links in our chat area too. It's great information. But I know we had a question that was very similar on, I lost your comment now. Oh, I will come back. Oh, Tess was actually asking, well, Tess, I like your name, first of all. But this is along the lines of the investors. So you're talking about needing these. And do you need NDAs for investors or anything like that? Is that even something you would ask for?
Again, you think about your relative power positions. There are some investors that expect you to give them an NDA. There's some venture capital firms that get insulted if you ask for it. So know who your audience is. It doesn't hurt to ask, but then again, they're not. The problem with NDAs is there's so many factors in there about the already existing science, or would I have known this with or without you? Or there are just so many variables in an NDA that I don't want people to get so hung up on them that they think it's their kindergarten warm fuzzy blanket that they put on, and the world's going to be a great place. Just be careful of who you're dealing with. Deal with reputable companies. What would this company be like if it's somebody that would steal my idea? And those type of companies you don't want to deal with NDAs or not. Like several of those invention health type companies that I won't name. Those are, you just deal with reputable companies, deal with reputable people, and you can offer an NDA, but keep it simple, and be aware that it's not going to give you all the protection that you think it will.
Wonderful. And Tess, to answer the rest of your question is, at what point in the beginning stages do you start to tell people about your idea because you need investors?
Well, the only people that are going to listen to you in the beginning are friends and family, right? You're not going to go with an idea to a private equity firm. You're not going to go with an idea to a venture capital firm, or unless you're Elon Musk or somebody like that has proven themselves up and has those relationships already built in. You're not even going to go with a raw idea to angel groups and get any money from them. You can sit there with your friends and your family and talk about your idea and start getting some feedback from them, and see if any of them want to be your partner. But you do that as early as you realize you need money and you have a great idea.
Great. And on that same topic of investment and getting the funds that you need, besides friends and family as first round funding, what is preferable as far as co-investors? And they have a whole list of them, but thank you for the question, Cassiano.
What is preferable is a lot different than what is reasonable, right? What is preferable is the largest venture capital in the firm in the country that's going to take you through several rounds of investment. That's what's preferable. What is to be reasonably expected in the beginning, let's just say, when I say the beginning, you're either have already launched and showing some traction, or you're just about to launch and you have a great story, you have well-documented and protectable intellectual property, and you have developed a bit of a team around you that shows that you can carry out what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? Because the money that investors are going to give you it's not just going to be money to make your widgets. It's going to be money to develop your organization and to provide the necessary resources for marketing, advertising, operations, building, logistics, import, drop shipping, all those things that you have to be when you grow up as a company. So those type of entities that are that early on take one or two typical forms. You can have what's called home office, which is basically a wealthy family that has their own investment vehicle, or again, you can deal with kind of loose-knit, high net worth individuals that you have to have a connection to get to them, and there's another way to get dollars necessary for that beginning, and that's on the debt side instead of the equity side. You qualify, you can get an SBA loan, you can get factor loans, you can get cash flow loans if you already have some income coming in with the organization. So there are several different ways. The ways that you're not going to be able to do it right in the very beginning is venture capital or a private equity firm.
Perfect. Thank you on that. And so Scott T is asking, he's, well, here, I'm going to say the whole thing. I'm in the go slow mode right now to get my prototype perfected and stress test, hoping to go fast later. Is this a good idea, or should I be working on something else?
All right. Well, that question's in a little bit of a vacuum, right? So I'm going to try to dance around it here.
And they're not part of our IdeaPros team, so.
So my assumptions with anybody that's at the prototype stage is that they've already identified the market, identified the competitors, look at the market size, the growth of it, look at the consumers or whoever the end target is, and understand what the pain point is, what problem are you solving, and what are they willing to pay for that problem. I'm assuming that all those things have all been realized first, and how you're going to position yourself in the marketplace, how you're going to differentiate yourself from your competitors in a way that consumers are more likely to go with you than them. If you have all those questions resolved and you're building a prototype, my second set of assumptions is going to be that you've had the prototype. Before you had the prototype, you have full engineering done, that the engineering is manufacturable. In other words, that those engineers have aligned themselves with a manufacturing organization that's going to be able to build what it is that they've designed and build it within a price point that meets what those consumers have already told you that they're willing to pay for your solution, right? If you have all those things, then you can start building your prototype. And your prototype is really just meant to be that first stage before you get to manufacturing, before you get to your individual manufactured product. So assuming all those multiple things, then when you're at that prototype stage is also when you should start your marketing. because you're getting really close, and you should start thinking about how am I going to take all this stuff that I learned, all this strategic marketing stuff that I learned, and turn it into marketing communications, which is a part of marketing that delivers your promise to the consumers, to the people that want that. So you definitely should be building out all of that at the same time. If you haven't done any of those things, you and I need to talk.
Right. That's for sure. There is a lot of, while you're getting some things done in your business, you can always be marketing, even if you don't talk about your product at all. You can be watching your target audience. You can be building influencers without ever even having your branding or your name attached to anything. So if you guys, we do have a show. Again, I have so many resources. Pretty soon we're going to have a cool resource page for you guys. But this show is about social connecting and researching. You can definitely do that before you even have anything to put out there. So there's never really a dull moment in an entrepreneur's journey, I don't think.
Yeah.
If you're sitting idle, there's something wrong.
So make sure you're a real entrepreneur. Otherwise, that's going to be a horrible journey.
It's true. It's true. Well, Jared has a couple. Thank you for putting it up on the screen, Jared. Whoops, nope. See, he has a question. I saw it just now. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Can you share your thought process when you plan on scaling your business?
Yeah. It's obviously there are multiple parts when you planning to scale your business. I'm assuming with that question that you already have sales, you have demand that is starting to put pressure on where you are, and you have to think about where you go next. So my thought process in things like that is I'll develop a worst case, medium case, best case scenario to see whether or not I'm prepared to handle all those elements. Do I want to increase my staff by 50% to prepare for drastic advance in sales that may not come? Do I want to take my chances and order 10,000 widgets or 100,000 of them, knowing that I'm projecting I'm going to have this level of growth, but it isn't there yet? Everything that I think about depends, first of all, on how much experience I have in that particular field. Mm-hmm. If I'm building widgets, and I've built widgets for 20 years, and I really understand the demand process, the ebbs and tides of that business and its customers, then I am more likely to take more risk than if I'm in a position where, hey, we got this brand new product, it's really doing well, it looks like we're going to be able to go into 3 or 4 different channels, and I want to gear up for that. Then I'm going to be a little bit risk adverse if it's the first time. But it's tricky because you don't want to end up in a situation where now it's growing faster than you thought it was going to grow. You can't keep up with the supply. Your distribution network isn't in place the way it should be. And you're going to have a bunch of customers that are not getting products. And you're going to have some major retailers, for example, that are not getting what they need. And that's going to implode on you, and it's going to be really hard to recover from. So you have to lay out very granularly what the possibilities are and how you're going to handle all those possibilities well in advance. I don't know if I've answered that question well enough, probably not, because there's so many different components to it. But again, prepare for the worst case, prepare for the best case, and don't utilize too many resources ahead of time, because you may not have to deploy those resources at all, and you're going to be wasting a ton of money and time.
Got it. Well, Jared, if we answered your question, let us know in the chat. And I know we're coming up on our end of the time today, but Fred, if you don't mind, I think we're pretty close to the end. Is there anything you want to give us for final thoughts before we let you go? And if you submitted a question on our form, or I didn't see it, you texted me. If you submitted one and we didn't cover it, don't worry, it will go into our next Ask Fred session.
Yeah, no, just, I mean, hey, look, these questions are all great questions. They're all about entrepreneurship. And I've said it every week. You got to be crazy to be an entrepreneur, right? But if you're going to be crazy, at least you have to be crazy smart. And so you have to get all the information that you need. You have to make sure you're well prepared in every aspect of it. The gentleman who was asking about prototypes, Jared's questions about where what you need to think of when you're getting ready to grow, to all the questions about patents and NDAs and things like raising capital. Those are all things that every entrepreneur needs to think about day and night, and also understand that that journey is not an easy one. And I've described it before as, if you're a real entrepreneur, you're going to run into a brick wall, and instead of saying, wow, that's a brick wall, I shouldn't run into it, you're going to go, wow, I got to run faster to get through that brick wall. So the only way you're going to make it through those brick walls is be an entrepreneur, understand that the impossible is possible, and it's possible if you work your butt off, look at all the bases and make sure that they're all covered no matter what the contingencies are. You're going to get there. It may not be on your timeline, but you're going to get there. Just keep going through those walls.
Thank you guys all so much for being here. And we got a lot of awesome comments. Thank you. And I can't even put them all on the screen right now. Fred, I'm going to let you go ahead and get back to work, because there's never a dull moment for entrepreneurs, and we have a lot relying on you. Thank you, Fred. We'll see you next week, guys. I'm going to take over the screen. So I kick Fred out now. And if you guys have not already, please hit the bell so that we can get reminders to you when we go live. There's also a link in the chat where you can sign up to get notifications. We also do text the notifications, so it's much easier to get us at your fingertips every single week. And I just really appreciate you guys participating and being here. I cannot say how much we love our IdeaPros fans enough, because you guys show up every single week. Jason, Jared, Pam, I saw Shelly, Donna, Vanessa, Barry, you all are here in, week out. Maria, Steve Brown, thank you so much. Timbo, we've got Jay Fanning, good to see you. Gloria, you guys, we actually have someone who has a grandchild in the hospital and they're still on with us. And Shelly, I think that was you. I'm definitely sending good thoughts your way for your grandson. But you guys are so committed. And I just love this environment, this group of people that we have here week in, week out. And we just want to keep bringing you guys great information and as always, those entrepreneurial tips and tricks. So again, our resource page is coming soon. It's going to be on ideapros.com. And we're launching a brand new website, which includes categorized blog posts. So all of our old shows will be tagged with the topic, so you guys can find exactly what you want, and embedded YouTube and Facebook and Instagram posts all on one spot. So that should be less than a week away, guys. So we'll see you all next week, Friday at noon Pacific time, every single Friday. Bye, guys.